In a heroic effort at spin, President Donald Trump is calling it a great day at the White House. In the last 24 hours, the president has lost yet another of his key appointments, the third in just over a week. Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci was only appointed last Friday. Now he's been sacked in spectacular fashion. The president also has a new Chief of Staff, General John Kelly. Anne Barker takes us through the chaos.
Anthony Scaramucci could be said to have unwittingly predicted his own demise at his very first press conference last week.
So I'm going to be very brief.
His sacking 10 days later now has the media in Washington, indeed the world, salivating, not least over the many statements he's made in such a brief time that have come back to haunt him, like telling the BBC he hates backstabbers.
You know, one of the things I cannot stand about this town is the backstabbing that goes on here, okay? Where I grew up, in the neighborhood I'm from, we're front stabbers.
And how he planned to fire anyone caught leaking to the media.
But if you're going to keep leaking, I'm going to fire everybody. It's just very binary.
Now, the mooch himself, as he's known, has been backstabbed and fired, and his own sacking was also leaked to the media before it was announced. Despite being a close confidant of Donald Trump, he'd become a liability within hours of taking the job. Instead of managing the headlines, he'd become one, after the New Yorker magazine printed word for word the obscene tirade he'd unleashed against the former White House Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus.
Reince is an effing paranoid schizophrenic, a paranoiac.
And of the president's chief strategist, he said,
"I'm not Steve Bannon. I'm not trying to suck my own sea."
When that interview was printed in full, Scaramucci lamented on Twitter that he'd made a mistake trusting a reporter. Now, that mistake has cost him his job. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
The president certainly felt that Anthony's comments were inappropriate for a person in that position.
Scaramucci also boasted that unlike previous communications staff, he was to report directly to the president himself. It now seems that John Kelly, the new Chief of Staff, objected to that.
I think I've been clear that General Kelly has the full authority to carry out business as he sees fit.
John Kelly has made his own mark on the president since his appointment as Homeland Security Secretary. President Trump has praised him for his, quote, spectacular work on immigration policy and border security, including the policy to build a wall along the Mexican border. One Washington reporter, Vivian Salama from Associated Press, says as the new White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly is an unusual appointment.
He is someone that is really no-nonsense, believes in discipline, cracks the whip, and this is really a time that the White House could use a little bit of that.
Scaramucci's sacking has now sent the media into a frenzy, with newspapers describing the White House as a fiasco and representative of Donald Trump's chaotic management. President Trump has rejected that and in the last few hours tweeted, quote, a great day at the White House. But with every sacking, there's expectation of more chaos, and already reporters are speculating about who's next, asking Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders about the future of Attorney General Jeff Sessions, whose own job is on the line.
Are reports that Attorney General Sessions is being considered for Homeland Security Chief accurate?
There are no conversations about any cabinet members moving in any capacity, and the president has 100% confidence in all members of his cabinet.
As for Anthony Scaramucci, there's no word on whether he'll be given another role in the White House or be out on his ear. Still, judging from his own Twitter page, he appears to have no ill feelings towards the president. His Twitter photo still shows him with Donald Trump in the Oval Office, both of them smiling from ear to ear.
Anne Barker with that report.